Spider-Man sets records. Robert Pattinson hunts those people. And so much more in this episode of Beyond the Screen. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another exciting edition of Beyond the Screen. I'm your host, Ryan, and with me, as always, is the one and the only Jake Holtzclaw. Jake, what up, man?
What's up, man? We hit 30 subscribers.
Let's go! Thank you so much.
Don't you dare unsubscribe.
That one person's like, I'm out of here.
I'm out of here. And then tomorrow we're gonna be like 29.
Thank you. Just sad eyes. No, but genuinely, like, we've been growing a little bit. We started posting to the shorts, the YouTube shorts, and you guys have responded. We've gotten a number of views. We around the 1,000 mark per short in the last however many weeks. I mean, we've gotten a lot of engagement over there. So thank you guys so much if you're watching the shorts and if you're sharing those. That's absolutely fantastic. But even small milestones are milestones nonetheless. So we thank you guys for being here and just watching us week in and week out.
Sorry, I was reading comments. Yes.
Bro heard comments.
Oh, we get comments?
Stop sign.
No. We do reply. We try to anyway. But
we're busy.
Ryan tries to debate people.
I like conversation, which, speaking of conversation, that's all I did all day today is just talk to people nonstop, answering questions. We're not going to go into any deeper why.
He's complaining, but he's a teacher. So
yeah, I've had a lot of fun, actually. It's been great. Like, no more information on that. Just putting that out there for anonymity's sake. However, I am one of those, and it was opening day, so it was like students come in.
That?
Open house.
Day, but yeah.
Yeah. So answering questions and but it was great. Like, just meeting people. Everyone's all fresh eyed and excited for the year, and so it's going to be a good time. So I'm really excited for it, but also I've talked to people nonstop all day, so I'm a tired man. But we're here because we're excited to talk about film news. So before we do that, Jake, what happened with you today? How was your day?
I've been building a brand guide, which takes a lot of thought.
Bro's thinkers.
Thinking about all the different possible ways somebody could screw up a logo and the colors that go with it.
Yeah.
It's like, and that's not like pointing at anybody. It's just like, how could this possibly be used incorrectly, and how can I like write down that item and say do not do this.
Well, I can only imagine being the person to create it, because like I, as like a videographer or a multimedia creator, have had to like really be the hex code police and make sure that that does not look like the right shade of maroon. That doesn't look like the right shade of blue. What's the hex code on that? I can only imagine being the person who picked the hex code. How, like, you know what I mean? Like, I could, like,
start getting into like print, like CMYK and Pantones, and I mean, it's normal stuff for marketers and designers, but like, it's just me, and I've not done it before. So that's why I'm kind of like, there's so many different things that I have to write down, and my boss is nice and chill. She's like, look, we're probably going to be some of the only people working on this for a while. Like, this is going to be a living and breathing document. And I was like, yeah, but I want to cover all the bases so I don't have to answer questions later.
Mm-hmm. Or at least so you have the answers to the questions later.
Yeah. Did you read the brand guide?
Right. Yeah. I cannot tell you how many times I would get like project requests or whatever, and they'd be like, but it would be, hey, I made this thing, can you post it to the socials? And I look, and again, our color was like deep maroon, like not purple, but like closer to purple, and it would be like burgundy, where it would be like, we disappeared, we're back. But it was like burgundy, and I look, and I'd be like, why is this red? like
why is this red?
Not correct. And you know,
I was trying to show them our color.
Well, yes. It's similar to.
Well, it's because you have to.
Hold on. This is the color for those watching. Is like that's almost similar. Like it's not quite. That's still a little bit more red. But like think that color, but just a tinge towards purple was like the maroon that was the brand. And yes, there was specific brand guide. Yes, there was a specific hex code. No, it did not get followed. But that's okay. That's why we had jobs. But anyway,
80-page brand guide.
mind you.
For Ryan. Yeah.
Yeah. I follow that thing to the letter too. But
it's very nice. I gave it to my boss and my boss prior. I was like, here you go. This is what I'm used to. And they're like, holy crap. I didn't really have to think at all.
Well, yeah. If you knew it like the back of your hand, I should say, like you didn't have to think. You just knew, like, oh, this is the rules.
You could just tell right off the bat. And I was like, oh, that's not how you use any of those colors or logos or. Yep.
Yeah, we're really just nerding out over brand for multimedia. You did tune into a film podcast, which film and media adjacent, whatever. We have film degrees, by the way. Let's get into the film news. We always start our first segment of each and every episode talking about the box office, specifically our predictions from this past week. Let's see how our top 5 predictions went. And of course, we're going to start with Jake doing absolutely fantastic, getting 5 out of 5 correct after predicting Spider-Man Brand New Day at 1, The Odyssey at 2, One Night Only at 3, Toy Story 5 at 4, and Super Troopers 3, 1 through 5. And I will say, Jake, the little turdy started the last episode saying, I'll give you points this next week, don't worry. And then he chose every one of them correct. I'm right behind him. I got Spider-Man Brand New Day at 1, The Odyssey at 2, One Night Only at 4, or at 3, excuse me, Toy Story 5 at 4, and I had Minions and Monsters at 5, getting 4 out of 5 correctly. That still does not help me in my chase to catch Jake, but that does help me in my chase to get back to second, as TJ, or Claude, our third member of our prediction competition, does not do as well as we did, although he still did decent, getting 3 out of 5 correct. Those 3 being Spider-Man Brand New Day, The Odyssey, and One Night Only at 1 through 3. He then projected, Super Troopers at number 4 and Ice Cream Man at 5, of which he got both incorrect. Our season totals thus far are 63 Jake, TJ at 57, and I at 56. Very, very tight. Again, we're still in that one bad week from one of us either pushes us out of the race entirely or swaps a leader. So we're very, very tight, very close in what is about a half-season checkup as we take the temperature on what we feel. So, Jake, how confident are you? You're 6 points ahead of me now? 7 points ahead of me now?
Sorry. I keep putting it back up.
It's 7. No, it's okay.
7, yeah. 6, 7. So, I feel like what you said, if somebody just misses all of them, just bombs, which is hard to do when you kind of know what was top 1 and 2. But we've had weeks where it's like, I don't know, there's nothing going on.
Yeah.
But what's I think is interesting is even from last year, but even this the beginning of this year, we've really, I guess, stepped into our own in terms of being able. Like, I don't think we've gone less than 3 for a long time now.
Mm-hmm.
I think that, like, I have the lead I have because I've inched my way over the past month and a half to 7 above Ryan. So I don't know. I just think that that's interesting that we've actually probably got a better statistic now than we did maybe in January or even last year.
Yeah, it is
like,
odd.
Do you feel that way?
It definitely, yeah. I feel like when we first started, it was definitely like a shot in the dark. It felt like I had no clue. But over the course of the year that we've been doing these predictions, it does feel like I know this is going to be number 1. I know this is going to be number 2. It's like, it's always, for me, I love making bets on those really tight ones, and I've been wrong. Whereas Jake's been taking the safe route more often, and that's why you've been able to build that lead where I've been trying to be crazy. And
I've been burned. I've been burned
yes.
on my 5.
But
like
that's
my
the fun
5th
in it.
one.
Yes, that's the fun in it though, is like just trying to not only be different, but also like trying to measure against what the history has, because we're not just betting on the box office, we're betting against like consumer behavior, which is almost impossible to some extent. Yeah, it's almost impossible to some extent, because like there are times where even if we did do like, because we don't do this every time for our new watchers, we don't look at projections. We don't look at box office forecasts. We just kind of look for marketing. We look for what people are talking about online, and we use that behavior from the previous however many weeks to try to predict next week. So I have no idea how much Super Troopers was projected in the forecast for the box office before it debuted, right? However, it's fun to try to be like, well, I don't know, like with the marketing and stuff where it's at. And I think it probably finished where it should have with the marketing it had, which we'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, it's pretty fun, and I do think that our average of correct has gone up tremendously. Unfortunately for me, all of us have gone up equally, and me trying to catch up, it hasn't been very helpful. But again, we've had weeks where we have no idea, and we've all gotten 1 out of 5. And if I get 5 out of 5 and you get 1 out of 5 on those weeks, if that happens, all of a sudden the lead's down to 3, and then it's a tight race. So all fun and games. I'm excited to see where the rest of the season takes us. And yeah, it definitely has gotten a lot in terms of the improvement on our predictions. In terms, like, it's just crazy. But anyway, with that out of the way, let's go ahead and go back to the top and give you the correct top 5. Again, Jake got 1 out of 5 correct. He projected, again, Spider-Man Brand New Day at 1, The Odyssey at 2, One Night Only at 3, Toy Story 5 at 4, and Super Troopers 3 at number 5. That is your 1 through 5 in terms of what finished first through 5th. So let's go back to the top and talk about the exact numbers for Spider-Man Brand New Day. In its second weekend in theaters, the film earned $144.2 million domestically alone after earning over $350 million, I think, last week. That's a lot of money in a second weekend. The film has grossed $1.6 billion worldwide. It's been out for 2 weekends, like a week and a half. According to the dailies, this is the 3rd biggest second weekend of all time and the biggest 10-day total ever. The only film to earn the only film to earn 1 billion faster was another Marvel tentpole, that being Endgame. Brand New Day now eyes a prize only held by 7 other films, that being the $2 billion club. We're about to see the 8th film all time in cinema history reach 2 billion. That's a couple of Marvels. That's a couple of Avatars. How do we feel?
You think?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
I am curious what the other ones are. I know that multiple Avatars are in there. I know multiple Marvels are in there. But is it like, I bet it's Star Wars?
You think Palantir Parker's got it in him?
Of course.
Isn't that funny? Palantir is... how would you describe Palantir? Let's see what Google says.
I'm gonna let you do that.
It's a software company. Not a very nice company. Kind of does a lot in the data and the military and the not so cool company, but block safety and whatnot.
So, while we were on Palantir,
Sorry.
I have found the $2 billion club. And that includes Avatar 1 is first with 2.9 billion earned on the only it's just the first film. That's not overall. That's the first film from 2009. Almost 3 billion earned. Avengers Endgame is second with 2.7. The Way of Water, the sequel to the original Avatar, is 2.3. Titanic is 2.2. Naza 2 is 2.2.
Oh yeah.
Forgot about Naza. Star Wars The Force Awakens. I knew there was going to be a Star Wars in there. Is at 2 billion flat. And then Infinity War is at 2 billion. And then right now, not No Way Home, sorry. Brand New Day is sitting at 1.6 after 10 days, 11 days. So we're going to see the 8th 2 billion film, but how high do we think it'll climb? It being at 1.6 right now.
2.1.
I'm right there with you. I don't think it's going to cross 2.2. I think it'll pass The Force Awakens and be like 6th on the list.
I was like, should I say 2? Should I say 2? 1. 2.1. I don't know. I really don't want it to cross 2, but might. It's
most definitely going to. And what's interesting is No Way Home almost grossed 2 billion. I did not notice that. It's 1.9225 is how close that was.
Do we think this is better than No Way Home?
I think they're very close. We talked about that last week, was like how close those two films were. And I to be honest, they probably both earned to be where they're at. As I've gotten further away from Brand New Day, I do like it. But I need to rewatch
No
Way
Home.
Tame Impala.
It's just one guy.
Yeah. I'm excited to see another $2 billion film. Remember, this is a year after Ted Sarandos of Netflix said that the box office and that the theater is a dying art, and that he didn't think there was a need for it.
Dude, it is. When was the last time you went?
Right. $2 billion from Spider-Man, and then we're also going to talk about The Odyssey up next, which finished second in its fourth weekend after earning $31.7 million domestically and pushing that film to $1.1 billion earned worldwide. That's 2 films in the last month that have earned over $1 billion. And fun fact, this $1.1 billion officially makes The Odyssey Christopher Nolan's highest grossing film of all time, finally passing The Dark Knight Rises. Another fun fact, The Odyssey's $289.3 million earned via IMAX screens is the largest for the format ever. So a lot of people went to see this in the biggest screen they could find. IMAX was rewarded handsomely. Nolan earns his biggest every single time he's released a film, I think the last 2 or 3 times. I don't think Tenet did what I'm about to say, but he's outgrossed the last one, right? Like
yeah.
Oppenheimer barely missed out on being number 1, barely missing The Dark Knight Rises. Here we are again. 3 close to $1 billion films for Nolan. I asked this before, Jake, and I'm curious your opinion now that we're at this point with The Odyssey. Universal promotes Nolan like he is the IP. They don't promote his films like Marvel does with each individual character. Universal says, oh, no, it's a Nolan, so it doesn't matter. Like, the story matters, but it doesn't matter because it's Chris Nolan, and they keep getting rewarded. Do we think that's a trend that will continue?
Yeah, probably. What do you think he's doing next?
Well, I don't just mean with Nolan. I mean do we think that this is a trend that will bleed into other IP, or not other IPs, other directors? Like, for example,
Spielberg.
Do you think people or like Disney will be like, Wes Anderson, I'll pay you whatever you want. Just make this big movie. Now, Wes Anderson is the first director to come to my head, and he would be terrible for that. But you get what I'm saying.
Well, I'm thinking like people do go see Wes Anderson because it's a Wes Anderson. Mm-hmm. I go see it because I know I like Wes Anderson, and I'll go watch it. But do they do that for Coolidge?
Well, I was thinking like Coogler. Like that's exactly what I was thinking was Ryan Coogler. No, there is a Coolidge, but I'm talking
Coogler.
Ryan Coogler. Like he is someone who do you think Warner is going to say, hey, like after Sinners, we'll pay you whatever, we'll market it as the next Coogler, and let's see if the audience shows up. I could see that. And the thing is, Coogler is the understudy to Nolan. But I definitely could see that being a trend now that fans and like as cinema becomes more and more like the rise of the cinephile is upon us. Like more and more people are engaged with cinematography and with trying to be movie critics now than they had in the last decade. So I just wonder if that trend will continue to build more Nolan types. Again, we talked about this before, but I'm just curious now that the film has grossed over $1 billion if we still feel that way.
Yeah, I think so. I'm just trying to figure out what could he possibly do next.
I think that Nolan had been outspoken about wanting to do a horror, but he hadn't found the right story. That would be really interesting because of the practical side of his filmmaking. I would love to see a really good practical horror, but I just don't. He's got all the chops. That's all I'll say. Like we've seen him do horror style in other movies, even though they're not horror. So I really do look forward to seeing where he'll go there. But with that out of the way, let's go ahead and move on down the top 5. Finishing third is One Night Only, debuting to $5.5 million domestic. The Callum Turner and Monica Barbaro starring rom-com lands right in the middle with audiences, earning a 74% on the popcorn meter and a B+ on post-track ratings, which is not bad from audiences. Critics were much less forgiving, landing the film a 46% on the tomato meter. The problem is a B+ on post-track. Not great for word of mouth, not great for longevity. Looking like this film will probably drop from the box office top 5 fairly quickly following this weekend. Moving down the line, finishing fourth is Toy Story 5. In its 8th weekend in theaters, after 2 months, it still cracks the top 4, still earning over $4 million domestically. It has pushed over the $1 billion mark, a third film this summer to break the $1 billion mark. I think it did last week as well. Actually, no. This was a couple weeks ago that it broke the $1 billion mark because we talked about Pixar. However, point still stands. We've had a lot of films break the $1 billion mark this year alone. And lastly, rounding out the top 5 is Super Troopers 3, debuting to $4 million domestically. Similarly to One Night Only, the third installment into the comedy franchise earned a respectable 71% on the popcorn meter, but only a 49% on the tomato meter. A lot of discourse between critic and audience ratings this past week. According to the dailies, the film only earned a quarter of what the 2018 sequel drew during its own debut, signaling, now this is a question, signaling a sign of the times or a reflection of the film's poor marketing? Because I had a reason why I didn't put this in my top 5, and I believe this to be why the film did not finish greater than 4 million. But I want to
though,
I want you to answer the question.
a quarter of the debut of the sequel
Of the 2018, the last one.
yeah, doesn't make up for like the bad marketing, because I feel like those who would want to go would have gone. That makes sense,
Yeah.
Like that's 25% of the revenue. So I think it's both. I think it was partly marketing, but I don't think marketing can overcome 75% of the sequels. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe if it was marketed, maybe another 50%, but it's not like they're not gonna blow it out of the water just because marketing was good. I think it's partly just like nobody really. It's like it's not a big enough base, I guess.
Yeah. But the thing is that we've seen films do well this year from this genre. Like Scary Movie 6 grossed 231 million. I like to see that propped up against what its production cost was, because I haven't looked that up. But I mean, like, that is kind of the point, is that we've seen films like this do well. I do think that maybe it is like who is new or excited for new Super Troopers. Not many people that I know, but I would probably put this mostly on marketing. A good marketing campaign can get a mediocre movie a lot of money. And I just feel like this had no marketing whatsoever.
The third installment. I mean, even if it's good marketing, it's like, oh man, I gotta go watch 1 and 2 of whatever the heck this is. And where do you go? Pluto?
Probably. Yeah, I don't think there's a lot of streaming rights being fought over for the Super Troopers franchise, which is crazy that we're talking about that as a franchise, but that's what it is. It's 3 installments. So I agree with you, but I do think that I would probably point more towards marketing, because like I said last week, is like I didn't even know there was a Super Troopers 3 until a couple weeks before it was supposed to release. And that's like, I love going to the movies and I just did not see it in previews. I did not see it on Instagram. Had no clue. Like we try not to look too far ahead, because like we're trying to predict week by week. So it's like impossible for big films to not know when those are releasing. But like films like this, like how does Super Troopers sneak up on you? Like that's like, Super Troopers is a cult classic. It's legendary, the original one. And the sequel did well. So it just, I do feel like they probably missed the mark. Maybe it's a thing of like, we're Super Troopers. We're making Super Troopers. Like it's got enough family fare. In less than a decade ago, we had a successful sequel. So maybe word of mouth will be enough, but it just isn't. I don't know. I'd like to hear, like, be a fly on the wall.
Not these days. People don't talk to each other anymore.
Right. I'd like to be a fly on the wall for the marketing meetings for that, because they missed the mark bad on that one. And I don't know. Maybe I'm just not the feed that finds in terms of algorithm, but that I just find that odd that I had no clue. If you heard of Super Troopers 3 before it released, if you saw the ads, let us know how early you saw them, because I didn't. Anywho, that's your top 5. Others,
if you're their target demographic,
yeah,
we're not.
Yeah, let us know what your feed's like. Anyway, other news from around the box office: Minions finishes, or I should say, Minions and Moana both dropped from the top 5, and Eli Roth's Ice Cream Man debuts to 8th after only drawing a little over 2 million. We'll talk about that in the third segment, because there's some drama with Eli and his latest horror adventure. We'll talk about that later. However, Jake, is there anything else from the box office that catches your eye?
It was Teenage Sex and Death at Camp Miasma. Yeah, go with that. No other reason, because it's a Mubi original. Yeah. Y'all remember Mubi? Like 20 plus episodes ago.
Yeah.
Came in 14th, 249,000. 5 theaters. Question. What else we got in here? Cat Video Fest 2026. That's been hitting.
I feel like we've talked about that a lot. Why is that still hanging around?
I think they come out with something else. I don't know, like, because there's only this weekend listed for it, but I'm pretty sure it's going for like a while. Interesting. The invite dropped. It's still estimated, but Cookie Queens. What we know about It's Girl Scout cookie season, and four tenacious girls strive to be a top-selling cookie queen, navigating an $800 million business in which innocence and ambition collide. Cookie Queens. That came in 12th, 350,446 theaters.
Good for them. Who releases that one?
Roadside Attractions.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, has been the box office. Before we get out of the first segment, Jake, we always do our predictions. Lead us off. Tell us why you have your top 5 and what we should look forward to being wrong.
My top 5 box office predictions. I'm the favorite now. I'm no longer the long shot in this horse race here, so you should listen to me. Spider-Man, Brand New Day at 1. Obvious. The End of Oak Street. That's my 2. We can talk about what that is after the 5. This is clippable. The Odyssey at 3. Paw Patrol, the Dino movie at 4. Paw Patrol going to do great things. Perhaps even the best Paw Patrol. And then The Brink of War at 5. Ryan, what are your 5?
So, as usual, me and Jake are pretty close. It's one of those things where it's hard to not have something similar because it feels a little bit more obvious. Spider-Man Brand New Day is going to clean house again. It's probably going to earn close to another $100 million domestically, especially if it continues to. I think it's about to take IMAX screens as well if it hasn't already. Going to continue to just burn money. The End of Oak Street at 2. I don't know why. When I see the trailers for this, I feel like this is going to be a terrible film. But Anne Hathaway,
there's T-Rex in it.
Anne Hathaway and Ewan McGregor are enough to bring in a massive crowd, apparently, because I've just seen so much about this. I love Ewan McGregor. I love Anne Hathaway. Did not think this would be a film that I would put in the top 2, but I am. I've seen it everywhere, and I've seen people actually be excited for this. So I'm putting it at 2. We'll see, but I'm going to trust what I see online. I have Paw Patrol at 3. These kid animation family movies always do so well, especially with a Toy Story 5 being phased out. And you have this kind of every now and again, I should say, like once every month and a half after another one of these films gets phased out, you have like a resurgence of interest because families want to continue taking their kids to the movies or they're looking for something to do on a weekend. So you have films like Paw Patrol that will pop off. And I feel like Paw Patrol will pop off. Earning more than $30 million, and the Odyssey will finally drop to under $30 million earned in domestically in the weekend, putting the Odyssey at 4. And my 5th is also The Brink of War. Angel Studios has a tendency to do this, where they always release something with some high end, like it was Solo Mio. It was what was their thing they released earlier this year for? It was a Young Washington. Did Angel Studios do Young Washington? I think they did. Regardless, they have a tendency to just release films out of nowhere with major names and just pop off, and they stick in the top 5 for at least a week or two. The Brink of War stars J.K. Simmons and Jeff Daniels. I have high hopes for this one in terms of my prediction for the top 5. That's why I have that one there, and that's why Jake also has Angel. That there. Yeah, I figured. So they're on a hot streak, and they're going to keep popping out films, and they're going to keep finishing top 5 because people want to see more Angel Studio productions, especially when you have J.K. Simmons and Jeff Daniels in them. Now, Jake, tell us about TJ.
I'd like to also say Snoop Dogg's in the Paw Patrol movie. So Claude got the same as me. So Ryan and I made a mutual agree. I guess, what do you call that?
We colluded.
And we decided that The Brink of War was worth swapping for Toy Story 5. So we shook hands and said, let's change it. We did have Toy Story 5 at 5, but
we didn't feel good about it. It wasn't finalized. We what we usually do is we put it in there and we both kind of sit and look at it for a minute as we're doing other things, then we'll come back and finalize it. Like we always we don't allow ourselves just like quick whatever. We're game planning. And I
mean, you don't go into the horse races and just be like, maybe somebody does. Okay, most people do.
We decided it wasn't worth it, and so we decided to switch The Brink of War only because after some thought, we colluded and decided that Toy Story 5 is probably not going to earn more than $3 million, I should say, and The Brink of War probably will. And so we shook hands and said, if one of us is going to win, at least it's not the bot. So we'll see. Either I get 5 of 5 or they get 5 of 5, and it's not looking good for me if that's the case. But we'll see. We'll see.
Hey, this could be one of those weeks where Ryan once again proves that neither I nor the bot are better than he is.
That's the goal, but we will see. Hopefully so.
Always the goal.
Yeah. Anyway,
But
any final thoughts before we get into our second segment?
I probably should have saved the Snoop Dogg comment for.
Anyway, with that out of the way, let's get into our second segment. So coming up after the break, let's talk Robert Pattinson and Disney and TikTok. I wanted on the record that I'm in the market for a new co-host. My co-host cut me off on my own show to play the ad break. I want, for those watching, we could see each other. Even when like
tiny
this, yeah,
pictures.
we could see each other. I looked down because I was like, oh, I wasn't done. And Jake goes and just shoulder shrugged. Just,
What do you want me to stop it?
no, we've moved on. It's over now. The moment's dead. But no, it was pretty funny. I just looked down. He knew immediately. I was like, I guess that was a stopping point. And I looked down, and Jake's like, I don't know. I guess.
I mean, it kind of was. It was like after the break.
The thing is, if I didn't bring it up, no one will notice. No one would have noticed. But I wanted it on the record that I'm also looking for a new co-host. So applications are open in the No, I'm just kidding.
Even my grandparents said that they just turn it on and then go clean the house or whatever.
Hey man,
well, that's what it's supposed to be for.
we've got the voices for the sleepers and the chore doers. Okay,
Chore doers.
I'm happy to be that for you.
Wake up! Wake up!
There's a man in the room. There's a man in the room. There's a man in the room.
Jeez.
Anyway, sorry, sleepers. We got you. Now listen to the not box off. Now listen to film news now that you're awake. Well, thank you for joining us. The first story in our main news segment, I don't have a lot written down for this. Usually I write a big old script and I read from the big old script. Not that I don't have a big old script this week. That's the next story. But our first
you better
story.
believe he's got one.
Oh, don't doubt me. Okay, I'm going to write a script.
Don't doubt him.
However, for this first one, I just wanted us to talk about Robert Pattinson. So let's look at his next project amongst many. Him as Chris Hansen in A24's Primetime.
Come on in.
Are you sure your parents aren't home?
I'm sure.
Big night planned.
Who are you?
Why don't you have a seat right there? I'm Chris Hansen with Dateline NBC, and we're doing a story on adults who try to meet teens online. You see how this looks, right?
I don't really like your show, but America loves it. So I need to move you to Catch a Predator, 9 p.m. prime time.
Gonna be bigger than Lost.
My name is Dan Plum.
Do you know what you're auditioning for?
So you are playing a 13-year-old?
Is there time for a rehearsal?
We're gonna shoot the rehearsal.
Come in.
They're gonna love this.
Predator has never earned the recognition it deserves. I want something that matters. No more bottom feeders. I want a whale.
Don't you ever just want to bleed them?
Maybe what I do is a little worse.
This could be our greatest segment yet.
We're going to him. We don't do that. They come to us.
I don't understand what I'm doing here. What you're doing is more than acting. You're cleansing the world of an ancient evil.
Let's catch us a predator. Who gave you permission to do this?
You have no plan.
I have to put him on television.
You're gonna be so proud of me.
I don't want to be a bad person.
Your definition of bad and my definition of bad are vastly different. What would have happened if I wasn't here?
How sick? Let me like my first thoughts were like, man, like how fantastic.
I'm muted.
It's okay. They won't see that.
They knew.
The point is, what I'm going to say, no one knows this. I love used to anyway. You run out of clips at some point. I love old To Catch a Predator clips because I think they're hilarious and they're very scary. They're hilarious because it's fun to watch these terrible people get busted. Like that is like the best feeling. However, it is very scary, especially when so disclaimer for those who don't know, we are from the great Commonwealth of Kentucky.
Ooh.
A lot of their stuff is in Kentucky. I don't know if you ever realized that. If you go back and watch To Catch a Predator, they're like in Kentucky a lot, which is terrifying. However, the story behind the scenes is prime for this. Is amazingly just for the picking for just a thriller like this. Do you know why TCAP got canceled?
There was a standoff, and the individual in question that they were, I guess,
allegedly
had allegedly I thought he had killed himself.
He did. Allegedly, I can't remember if it was an attorney or a politician from.
It was a prosecuting attorney that had done several of their own, like the show's own.
Yes, it
cases.
was an attorney. Got busted by TCAP,
but they had done cases for TCAP.
Yes, and allegedly they were caught. They ran. The show producers in film they followed him, and the episode never aired because the said attorney ended up leaving us intentionally, and so that's what ended the show. And now I don't want to get into the whole thing of should we be glorifying this, because that is a good question there. However, depending on the route that they go in this reenactment, I don't know how. After watching the trailer over again, I don't think Chris Hansen's that crazy behind the scenes. Maybe he is. I don't there's something about it that just definitely feels dramatized, because the dude was just a journalist. Like he just happened to be the face of that show. I doubt he was as dramatized as Chris Hansen or as the Robert Pattinson version of Chris Hansen. However, I do look forward to seeing just the twists and turns that the real life story took dramatized. I think it's going to be so much fun. And as annoying as I am, or as annoyed as I am for A24, sorry, Freudian slip there. As annoyed as I am at A24 for everything they've done this year, dang, can they put out some good movies? And this is gonna, dude, just aesthetically, tell me this just does not look just grimy.
I got Nightcrawler vibes.
Yes!
That's what I was trying to say while I was muted. I was like, this feels like Nightcrawler. Is this the next, not literally me, but could be how they I mean, Pattinson's known for these types of characters that everybody's talking about, but everybody already talks about Chris Hansen and he's a real guy. Now dramatize it with one of the most beloved actors right now, who's just turning out banger after banger and is somehow clippable in terms of memes and videos. I mean, even in the Odyssey, he just got clipped for saying the word beggars in a way that just makes people whoa, he meant that. He meant that. That was a slur. That was
yeah.
So I don't know that. I love Pattinson, and I think he's going to do a great job. But I think there's a lot of anticipation here for the reason that you brought up was, should we be glorifying this? And some people think that they want to know. They want to know what had happened, and they're going to, I saw hype behind actually finding out what had actually happened. And this movie's not going to be fact, 100% fact, but they're gonna talk about it. That's what I see a lot of people getting hyped over, is that there's gonna be something that is either confirmed or talked about.
Yeah. I look forward. Now, full disclaimer, we will say allegedly just because there was no opportunity for there to be any trial. However, what they were able to capture in terms of evidence, did they drive him to maybe do some things that he wouldn't have done? Maybe the pressure got to him from the show, and that's what happened. We're not denying that. However, they have a lot of evidence to show he probably did do what they're claiming he did, regardless of what. So I don't feel bad for the person, but I do wonder, there is a level to it of we're glorifying a guy taking his own life. Like that is like the story of how that happened. And that's not like completely abnormal in our day and age, but it is like a very touchy subject. And I something else I noticed too, like little details after, because I'd watched that before the recording, but after rewatching it, they never called it To Catch a Predator. And I wonder if that's like licensing. They just called it Predator the whole time. And I wonder if that was like, I wonder if that was due to licensing issues with NBC. But after, again, when I first watched it, I was like, oh yeah, Robert Pattinson, Flash Thompson, Jimmy Olsen. Like, it just kept happening where I was like, oh. And so I think it's got a stacked cast. I think it's going to be very uncomfortable. I like movies that make, like, one that are, like, kind of gritty like that. Like, I love thrillers. I love, like, that just make get your heart pumping. I love the aesthetic that it's going for. And just the emotion. Like, Flash Thompson, I need to actually get his, like, actual actor's name. Give me 1 second.
He calls him that because that's who he played in some of the Spider-Man movies, and everybody was like, "Where's he at in Brand New Day? Where is he at?" Well,
he got busted. Yeah, he was
busted.
He was told to take a seat, and he did. So his name's Tony in real. So Revolori is his last name, Tony Revolori, or Revolori. I'm just gonna say Revolori. He's fantastic. Like, just the emotion whenever Chris Hansen, when Pattinson walks out and tells him to sit, and he's like, "I'm Chris Hansen with Dateline NBC," and it's got this really tight shot, and he gulps, and you could see his eyes jutting back. Like, I could feel the anxiety, and it just such a good portrayal in that moment. We only saw it for half a second. The same thing with I'm gonna do it again, Jimmy Olsen, but same thing with his actor. It was just like, can I have a rehearsal? And they're like, this is the rehearsal. And you could see the panic of like, this guy's about to come in here and try to like, like I'm in the fire. Like, I'm literally in the line of fire. And I wonder how much of that is true. I would be fascinated to hear more from behind the scenes after it's come out, after we have some, hey, I was an actor on the show and this is how it actually went. Because, like, I'm curious how realistic that is. But, like, can you imagine if that was any sort of realistic where it was like, hey, you're hired to be an actor and you're helping to cleanse the streets. By the way, no prep. Put on this polo. You're 13. Go. Yeah. And it's like, I'd be petrified. Because, like, this is real. Like, this is beyond acting. And so, anyway, just to shout out the name, Skylar Gisondo is the name of Jimmy Olsen. So Skylar killed it again. Like, you could just feel these things. And as always, Robert Pattinson might be one of the greatest actors of this generation. And I know that sounds so hyperbolic, but think about his run in the last however long. The Odyssey. He did the drama earlier this year. He's got Dune 3 coming out late this year. He's got the Batman coming out next year. Or I guess, is it
Twilight?
Twilight. But think about, like, just the run that he's had and will continue to have. He's just nailing it time and time again as all these different characters and types of characters, and he's killing it. So I love.
You want me to go through them? I'll just go through them. When do we want to, like,
start?
2020? You're going to go all the way down to 2020?
Sure. Start 6 years ago.
All right. Upcoming, Primetime, Dune Part 3, and the Batman, what you've said. There's also Here Comes the Flood, which I've not heard of. It's in post. The Odyssey, the drama, Die My Love, Mickey 17, the Batman, The Devil All the Time. I heard that one. Tenet, and another Dior ad. He's done 2 Dior ads.
So it's in the last 6 years, he's done Batman. He's about to do a second Batman in the last 7. Yeah. He's done 2 Nolans, Primetime, Dune.
Yep.
You're telling me
we just missed The Lighthouse in 2019 too.
You're telling me this isn't an all-time run for the guy that was just Edward Cullen a decade ago.
And mind you, the Twilight, like, saga, I'm sorry to say it kind of killed him, but, like, there are movies in here like I've not heard of.
Oh yeah, his career
after
post
Twilight,
that trilogy or that quadrilogy, the rough. 4, yeah, typecast like crazy.
Until pretty much like The Lighthouse.
Don't forget he was in a Ghibli, wasn't he? He was a voice actor in an animation, not in the middle of all that too.
Yeah.
The Boy in the Heron, wasn't it?
Yeah. He is the Heron. But yeah, voice acting, dubbing. That was in 23 though.
He killed it in that. He was fantastic.
Yeah. So he's done a lot of other stuff as well. But He's a producer. And let's see, I'm trying to find his. He has a writing credit. Oh, it's a video in 20. But yeah, so just crazy filmography there. But I just like to point out that like after Twilight, he struggled to get back in front of until I think The Lighthouse kind of did it for him, gave him that extra gritty. Because immediately after The Lighthouse, there was one called The King with Chalamet.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what got him back into, I think, the limelight, because he shared it with Chalamet. And then what was it after that? Immediately after that, it was something else. Well, no, I can't get back to him.
No, I very much so, just on that note, I very much so look forward to just continuing to see where his career goes. But getting back to Primetime, I do want to talk like
Tenet was next. Sorry.
We talked about like kind of what we wanted to see, or like what the audiences wanted to see. They wanted to see the next step. But for us, like, again, like I think that history with the show and Chris Hansen itself is so fascinating that just watching the history unfold in the drama sense is going to be really interesting. But Jake, like, what are you most excited? What do you hope to see from this film?
Well, I've been seeing a whole lot more of Chris Hansen and like To Catch a Predator stuff since this came out, and maybe that's because I've been For You page algorithmed, because I liked that Robert Pattinson in this movie was coming out, so maybe I'm getting fed more. But like, there's been there was a popular creator that came out as one of those people. It was and then Chris Hansen like recently sat down with him, and like there was a recent documentary that just came out that like I think hyped this a lot.
Yeah, For those who are wondering, I don't want to even say the acronym because we are a very family friendly show. But he was a Eagles fan who wanted a cupcake real bad. That's where we'll leave it at. And Chris Hansen nailed the interview. Like, Chris Hansen did not. That's something I love about him as a journalist.
He didn't let
up.
I mean, he was.
No, he never does. Like, he shows up with chat logs and he's like, "What did you mean when you said?" He's like asking the grittiest parts. And like, I can't. That's like, if you ask me, like I already kind of said, like I love that it's so gritty in terms of visuals. I want to see that Chris Hansen portrayed with the Robert Pattinsonisms, like that rubber face that I talk about. That alone is going to be, with the history that it's depicting, is going to be so fun. Like, it's just going to be, we talked about why it's going to be controversial, but beyond that, and like just telling the story of like the dramatization of what led up to that event with the Chris Hansen portrayed by Pattinson, I think this film might be the Oscar nominee for Pattinson. And that's saying something after he's been in how many films?
He didn't I thought Mickey was in the running. But
Mickey was last year, I think. I don't think Mickey would be eligible for this next year. I think
no, he's not. What I'm saying is like he was nom.
Oh,
right? No.
But I'm saying
I guess it wasn't. Never mind. Sorry.
This might be the reason that he wins one if he was nominated before. I don't think he has been nominated, but just in case I'm wrong, I'd like to see it.
He's never gotten a nomination. Wow.
It very well, if it's not this film, one of his films this year will get him it. But I think
you know what he's got. It could be Oscar. It's Primetime. The Odyssey, the drama, and Dune Part 3.
He's got 4 films that have the opportunity to be nominated, and I think that of all of them, maybe supporting actor for Dune. I don't think he's in the Odyssey. I don't want to say that. I was going to say I don't think he's in the Odyssey enough, but you never really know. He's in it enough to make a big difference, so maybe they could give it to him. He leads in TCAP, which is why I think he's got the opportunity to do it. Or I guess it's just prime time. But anyway, any final thoughts before we move on to our second story?
I got nothing. Good luck to him, and I can't wait to see it. When's it come out again? September?
Yes, like later this year. I'm going to be in theaters for that, like in a heartbeat. Yeah. That's going to be so fun. And let us know if you want us to review it, because I think that'd be a lot of fun to talk about.
Well, that's interesting because like, I was worried that documentary that came out with Chris Hansen was a little early, which I mean, arguably it could be, given we're more than a month out. But
September 25th.
If they had waited till the end of August, maybe to launch that, if it's the same group that would make money off of.
So
which I doubt it.
He got, after the stuff with the attorney, he left NBC, and he still does that, but he does it with like his own watchdog group, like on his own platform. So he's independent very much so, but he's still making a ton of money. So I go support Chris Hansen, like doing God's honest work out here. But anyway, let's move on to our next story. This one's not going to be as fun just because we're talking about not a merge, but another deal in the business side of things. But it is important, and we're going to give our opinions. Disney and TikTok struck a deal this past week that allows content creators access to Disney's asset library, which is not a small deal. Not a small deal. And if you're familiar with the show and you follow Disney a little bit, this will sound kind of familiar. Let's break it down. Coming to a TikTok near you, content creators high and low are now again being permitted access to assets tied to franchises from Marvel, Pixar, Star Wars, FX, and more. Furthermore, if the creator that's doing this type of content on TikTok chooses to do so, they each will have the chance to opt into a program that will take this new content and feature it on Disney Plus's new platform called Vertz. Disney's chief marketing and brand officer, Asad Ayez, said in a statement, quote, "This collaboration creates a new bridge between the stories we tell and the creativity they inspire," they being content creators, giving creators a bigger stage to share what they've made and audiences more to discover on Disney Plus every day, and that's according to Variety. While new to the streamer, the concept of Vertz, is specifically that wording, Vertz, is not new to Disney, the company, like in the slightest. As this style of TikTok-esque, like scrolling vertical video has long since been integrated into the now straight-to-consumer ESPN streaming service. So not the cable channel, not the app, but the straight-to-consumer streamer that they launched with the same name, which is so confusing. They have Vertz on there where you can open it and scroll like TikTok, like Instagram Reels, and it's been a hit. They've had a solid response from sports fans as they're just trying to get their latest plays. They're just trying to get the latest news. They open the app, they scroll through Vertz, and they get what they need. So they've had a decent result. They're now trying to integrate it into Disney Plus, and they're trying to just lease out their content, or at least their asset library, to these content creators and just take it. And I'm assuming, hey, the deal will be, you can use our asset library, but we technically own the post. You know, like you can make money off of the viewership, but we own the content. You know, like there's going to be some deal, I would imagine. But anyway, let's continue with the rest of the story. On a call with investors, new Disney CEO Josh D'Amaro said, quote, "Short-form and creative content, they've exploded in the past few years, and it's an area we're focused on because we have deeply committed fans who, you know, love our brands and our franchises and characters, and they want to engage with them in this new way. This is specifically important when we think about Gen Alpha, obviously, the newest generation of Disney fans. What we're doing is we're experimenting with short-form content in a variety of ways." We talked not long ago about how Disney was trying to find new original content because young boys specifically are not caring about Disney. They're not caring about these IPs, these long-held IPs. And this seems to be on top of trying to find new content, new original stories that, again, we reported on probably 6 months ago. They're now trying to hit the Reels. They're now trying to hit the TikTok. And you can't really say it's a bad concept because think about those micro dramas that pop off online. That's $1 billion industry alone, and Disney is honestly late to the party with trying to get into that. And they're not, I don't blame them for that. Something to keep in mind, this is what I was talking about earlier. This is very reminiscent of a deal Disney had earlier this year with OpenAI. If you remember, the AI firm's now defunct generative AI service named Sora was, back then, was to allow Disney Plus subscribers to use Disney IP in their own content, which they were to generate, which was then to be potentially featured on Disney Plus. Again, sound familiar? Seems like, hey, we don't have an AI way to generate this for our users, so let's just make the next best thing happen. Let's just let their favorite content creator make content with it. Anyway, to round out the story and to get into our thoughts, TikTok backed up Disney's claim, with TikTok global head of entertainment Don Yang stating, quote, "Together with Disney, we're bringing the authentic creator expression of the TikTok community to Disney Plus, inviting audiences to experience the shared creativity that makes fandom so powerful." What do we think, Jake? To be so for real, I'm not shocked by this in the slightest. This is kind of like, meh, okay. I figured this would happen.
Grasping at straws. I was trying to find. I was like, when's the last time they did anything for like sports? Like I was like trying to look into Disney. And I was like, what are younger kids into nowadays? And I was like, I feel like I've been over at my buddy's house he's got like 3 kids, and one of them's like a Gen Alpha. Like I think he's 9, and he's just scrolling shorts, just scrolling YouTube shorts, or watching YouTube videos. And I'm gonna say this because like I don't know who the popular tubers are for the alphas, but like Jake Paul or Dobrik style vlogs, I guess, or like these I guess phase creators, if I had to put it in the Gen Z's perspective. But like basically all the phase guys right now are vlogging. Like they're not as much into Call of Duty or gaming as much as they're like now personalities outside of their gaming setup. And so I see a lot of that from him. And like when I come in, I see it on the TV. He's just glued to the shorts, but he can name every, sports or football star. Like he's super into football, super into basketball. Now I know that's not every kid, but I was like, well, who did GOAT? The Steph Curry, and that was actually Sony. So I was like, when was Disney's last, like animated or even sport movie? It's been a while. So, and I'm not saying that sports are, like I said, what every kid's into, but I just think that like, yeah, Disney's missing on almost every movie on that demographic. And I don't know if Vertz is where it's at, but
I think you make a great point, because like think about back in the day, it was like sports movies was kind of Disney's bread and butter to reach certain demographics of boys, specifically like Remember the Titans. And I think like Disney Channel original movies, like was it like Luck of the Irish was like a basketball movie, and like Disney had this on lock and key. What felt like forever was the feel good sports movies that young boys who liked sports could watch, and that's how they introduced other characters, and that's why they watched Disney. They haven't done that in a long time. I don't think this is necessarily the only way to get back to boys. I think they're just trying to monopolize. Every entertainment company ever is trying to take as much real estate in your brain as possible. They want you to be spending as much time as possible watching their content. So they go to TikTok. They say, hey, let your creators use our stuff. It'll be interesting because like when they say asset library, I'm curious how and when are they able to like animate with these characters in some way? Are they able to, like, as long as it goes strictly to TikTok, are they able to like I'm curious to see like, and does this go back with the OpenAI deal? They could only use characters that were masked. They could only use characters that they had certain rights to. Does this also have that same limitation? Because like, are you just going to have Chris Evans, his face in an, you know what I mean? Like, is that like, where are the protections for the actors in this who might portray these IP? I don't know. Like, so I want to see more of the fine print on how this deal actually works. I feel better about this simply because it is like they're paying the creators to do it instead. But who's to say the creator won't use AI and just throw the asset library at it? So like that's kind of like I think that there needs to be similar protections for it before I look at it and give it the old gum stamp of approval. But I do appreciate.
They have one of those.
Hey, you'd be shocked. I will say I do appreciate Amazon. I do appreciate Disney's straight up just their reverence and their perseverance to get this type of deal. They're like, we want verticals, we want content creators. Yeah, and instead, they're just pounding the desk, and like they did it, so good for them. I just hope that this creates more original content that is actually worth watching and not just AI slop. I guess that's kind of where I'm at, is that like I worry about the quality, which is why I'm happy there will be a little bit of hey, we're gonna like sift through these before we put them on Disney Plus. But yeah, it really is just, I don't think it's as much just trying to create content for younger boys. I think it's just trying to find another way to monopolize on people's attention spans, like they've already done with verticals on ESPN.
Slim pickings on them attention spans, dude.
Yeah, the thing is,
what'd you say?
Lawsuits? Yeah, lawsuits have been filed. We've talked about it on the show about malicious
and settled.
Yeah,
filed and settled
on malicious attempts to monopolize on attention spans, and they've had to pay undisclosed amounts. But it's something that is a precedent set in our court system. So, what will the fallout be? It could be
There are some fighting it though, so we will get to see some precedents actually being laid.
Yeah.
Meta being one of them.
Yeah, Meta is definitely on that list.
I think I think they're fighting it. I think they're the ones that are fighting it. YouTube
Yeah.
settled.
It was Snapchat and YouTube that got the major lawsuit, and then Meta is still under the ire right now
Because they chose to fight and not settle.
yes. And so
There was another one.
again, the fallout from all that, I'm very fascinated with. Disney and Amazon will not be exempt from this. We'll see where we go. We'll see where it goes from here. But any other thoughts about Disney and TikTok?
Dude. No.
Get me out of here. All right.
I'll be putting in my 6 hours later tonight. You know, you know how it is.
Coming up after the break, we talk about what you should know before you go. Stick around. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Beyond the Screen. You've made it to segment 3, which is always our quick hit segment. I knew Jake was hovering over that button. He was waiting for me to. He was really dying to cut me off again, but I got my words.
Guess what button
out.
I'm hovering over this time?
I think I know what it is too. Oh yeah, it comes to me and in my dreams. Yeah, I am about to step on my soapbox. So what of it? I always take this quick moment before our third segment, after you've stuck with us for an hour, to say thank you. To say thank you for being here. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for just watching, liking, commenting. We love engaging with you guys. We love seeing your opinions, especially over this thing we call news. We kind of picked the goofiest little aspect or avenue to report and talk about. It's just literally like, Robert Pattinson's playing a Predator Hunter. What do we think about that? And I think that is the funniest thing ever. And so the fact that you allow us to do that, the fact that you allow us to just have fun, we've built this show into something that I know that like I'm proud of, and I hope Jake is proud of too. In terms of just the visual aesthetic, we're still growing, but I love you guys, and I'm just ecstatic that we can do this every week. So thank you for putting up with us. Thank you for listening to us. Thank you for engaging with us. And like, subscribe, comment, follow, wherever you are, whether it's on a podcasting platform or you're watching on Spotify and YouTube.
Send us some mail.
Bro, you know how crazy it'd be to...
I'm not putting any addresses out there.
No, yeah.
If you can find me.
If you want to send us mail, I'll get a P.O. box, and you can send it to the P.O. box, and you'll never know where I am.
Please don't spend money. Just write a letter.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be funny? I spend money on it to get a P.O. box, and it's like a letter that just says like, hey. Like, it's just like one word. Hello. Thank you.
Yeah. Hey, you put time and effort and stamps into that, so we thank you. Anyway.
Soapbox over. Stepping off the box. And with that out of the way, let's go ahead and get into our final segment, which is, as always, our quick hits, what you should know before you go. Starting off in the UK, the UK Regulatory Board has approved the Warner Mount deal after Paramount promised to keep British channels independent and to keep creating original UK kids content. So they made some promises. Later in the week, Paramount continued making promises with CEO owner David Ellison reportedly offering major theater chains a legally binding contract guaranteeing 30 theatrical releases per year if the studio buys Warner.
Wow.
That is after, like a week after, they were forced to wait until April or March of next year. So they're not only going into further and further debt and paying more and more money, they're doubling down on the 30 films a year. So, the wealth some people have, dude. The wealth some people have. That's crazy.
Do you think that there's an opportunity to like re-release things and that count?
I don't know. I worry about the quality of the content because now they're definitely going quantity, which will create jobs. But how much money do you lose before you start stripping that back? It's easy to do that for 2 years, and then you're like, all right, I'm done.
You run it skinny, dude.
Mm-hmm.
You run it the if you can. Back rooms and the like, like run it super skinny.
Yeah, I guess my big thing too is like just because they're talking about however many films a year doesn't mean they're promising more jobs. Like the biggest thing that I want to emphasize is that it's going to be the same people that they trust making 5 films a year. They're like it's going to be still a very Yes, it's going to be it's bigger than just a click, but it's going to be smaller than actual industry. And so you're not going to see what they're promising. They think that if they can get away with making 30 films a year, that it can cover whatever damages they're going to do to the industry in terms of cutting jobs and slicing roles here and there. And that's just not how it works, man. Like, it's just not how it works. They already talk about how they have 6 million, not 6 million. It's like a crazy high number of like cost saving incentives that they're going to do once they merge. Cutting jobs. How do you think they're going to do that? How do you think they're going to save money? It's because duplicate jobs are everywhere and they're going to get rid of them. And that's how they're going to save. And that hurts the business. I'm sorry. So I know that there are certain chains and there are certain creators out there who are really vying for it. But I don't really trust like AMC trying to say like, we want them to merge, because why do you think they want them to merge? If they're the most vocal for it, Warner-Mount's going to be like, yeah, we'll put our films in your theaters more. And then who's going to go watch their movies? The fans. And who's going to make more money? AMC. So I don't trust a billionaire trying to tell me that we should agree to another billionaire's purchase. That's going to hurt the common man. I don't agree with that. And so sweeten the pot up as much as you want. Your words are just words. I disagree with everything they're doing. And I hope that it's too expensive for the most wealthy family in the world, which is impossible, but we'll see.
I think you're a socialist. No, I'm kidding. It's like, let's get super into debate. No, not really. Yeah, I think it's always like a eyebrow that you have to raise because, like you said, like 1 millionaire or a billion. We're talking billionaires now. It's like Austin Powers, where he's like $1 million. Like that's like chump change now.
Yeah. No, bro, we can pay that easy.
No, we're in the billions now. There's like one billionaire, hoping for another billionaire's success. It's kind of like, okay,
where are we at?
We're scratching backs around here, aren't we?
Yeah,
a bunch of back scratchers. I mean that negatively.
Yeah. I'm not going to say, there's another word I could say, but I won't say it because we talked a lot about Warner and Paramount, and I do think we want to move on. We'll keep covering it as things happen, but we also don't want to bore you because I'm sure you've heard a lot of it too at home. So moving on, as reported by Deadline, Michael Part 2 will release in late 2027 or early 2028.
This is going to be a cultural phenomenon.
It's going to make a lot of money. Like, just like the first one did. It's going to make a lot of money.
Are they going to address...
That's what they get. We talked about this too. It's just like...
Could it be better than the first one? Box office.
I don't know, man. The first one earned a ton. $1 billion.
But this is the controversial side.
Do you think they're actually going to talk about the controversy? That's the thing. If they do, I think it could earn $1.5 billion.
Do you think they're going to say that they aren't just to get people in seats?
I think they'll probably say like the true story of Michael. And everyone will be like, oh my gosh, you're going to do it. And then it's going to jump to like 98, which is like well after everything. Like, he's just not Michael. It's just not the story. But they'll make a lot of money from that. And that dude still has such a fan following. They're going to be like what they did this past time. They're like, this is the story that I wanted to see. This is the music that I grew up with. So I'm going to happily do this. And there were a lot of people who were like, I openly admit that they left a lot of stuff out. Like the fact that Michael just didn't have a sister named Janet Jackson, who's arguably just as famous as he was. And in that movie, just didn't have a sister. Didn't exist. That's inaccurate. But they just completely ignored that. And I think we're going to see more of that. And there won't be a third. And if there is a third, it'll probably be his death, which is another...
What? He died?
Another hotly debated topic.
Spoilers.
If there is a third in that, it'll still make a lot of money, but I don't think it'll be as popular as the first two. Because then now you're getting out of the nostalgia. Like you're leaving the nostalgia after 20 or 2002 probably.
The later you go, the more people remember.
But by 2035, you know what I mean? Like by the time they get that third one out, maybe 2030. But
as time marches on.
Yeah. Anyway, any other thoughts?
I probably won't go watch that one the same as I watched the first one.
Same. Anyway, moving on. Kit Connor is in talks to portray Cyclops in the MCU's X-Men reboot. Now, I don't know if you guys know what Kit Connor looks like. But that man...
You going to show the audience?
I am. I think he could pull it off.
Here, I got a better one.
Okay, he's got a better one. Yeah, there you go.
What do we think, guys? What do we
He's
think?
He's a guy on the right.
Okay. Yeah. He's guy on the right. Is he Cyclops?
There is another image of him where he's got like a beard and he's like, if you throw the Cyclops like goggles on him, I really think that he could pull it off. I think he'd do a great job. And what I hope
this is from Deadline. I'll swap it out quick for you.
What we had talked about last week with Spider-Man when we talked about, like I think he could pull it off. And what we talked about last week, he's got the strong jaw, and I feel like just as an actor, we'll see he'll do fine. But I want to see, and this is why I like this casting with someone so high profile, someone so young. This is the type of guy that can make Cyclops into the coolest character you've ever seen, like he is in the animated. Like
he's supposed to be.
Yes, that's how that's his character.
Coolest.
He's not just one of the coolest. He is strong. Like Charles Xavier picked him to lead for a reason, and you missed that in the Fox. So casting someone like Kit Connor to portray the role, someone so young, someone as high profile, to my mind insinuates that's what you're going to do. Is you're going to make him what he should be, and I look forward to that. I cannot wait to see what it looks like and to see how they continue to progress this. There's a lot of other rumors about the other X-Men casting, but we're going to wait until some of those are confirmed. Which will probably happen later this week, and we'll talk about it next week. But Jean Grey and Scott Summers have been...
I wonder who Jean Grey is.
Watch our episode last week to figure that out. Anyway, moving on. According to the media outlet The Playlist, David Fincher's upcoming English adaptation of Squid Games has been scrapped by Netflix after years of development hell. Fincher and Netflix, quote, shifted energy or strategy and moved on to other projects.
Game.
Why do we need
the best?
Yes, thank you. Why do we need another adaptation? I love David Fincher. Nah.
Yeah. And Squid Game season 1 was great. Squid Game season 2.
Do you think that they were going to let him like take advantage of the fact that Squid Game season 2 wasn't great, and like let him tell his own story after that?
I think that it flopped while they were like making Squid Games with Fincher, and then they were like, we gotta start over.
They pulled a win's a winner, and they were like, oh, we gotta rewrite this,
and it just doesn't work. Like whatever they had didn't work that way.
Yeah. Like, and so they're like, let's restart, and then they just never got back to it.
Or they like wanted to keep things but change things and make it more or less. XYZ, and obviously with whatever they kept and not like starting over. I think it was just like a retro fitting or like retroactively trying to tell the story that's just did not coincide, and so they gave up. Tax write-off.
I want him to go back and work on Mindhunter. Is that sad? Like I don't like that. Why is he doing anything other than that? You know what I mean? Like that's kind of where my mind is right now. But anyway, get it out of here. Get it out of here. Get it out of here. Get out of my sight. I'm done with the live action remakes or just the English remakes of anything of the. I grouped this with like Moana. We don't need it.
I saw the next Spider-Man was delayed because the director of Brand New Day wants to do a live action Naruto.
He's not just wanting to, he's doing it. Like it's green.
He's doing it. Yeah. It is being like Spider-Man 5 is being delayed, and that was one that it's the Darkest Day, which is supposed to be symbiote, supposed to be like MJ death.
Yeah. And I think we probably
delayed 3 years.
It was not just delayed 3 years, but I do think that it was supposed to come after a Tom Holland break and Secret Wars anyway, which was, I think Secret Wars is where people have kind of like, that they have convinced themselves that that's where the symbiote will make its debut, and then it will lead into that movie. I don't know. I just say we just wait and see. But anyway, yeah, live action.
And people are not happy about live action Naruto. They're like, "Are you kidding me? Just leave it as an anime." No live action anime is really.
It's not worth it. It's that the anime is made in such a specific niche and art style that it's so hard to like think about. I'm about to finish up Death Note right now. Think about what the live action version did. The only thing that live action version on Netflix did. The only thing I'm talking about the Netflix one. The only one that the Netflix one did correct was Willem Dafoe as Ryuk.
They cast the right guy.
That he is so perfect for that. And and the second that I saw that, I was like, valid. Like he
Did you watch it?
I've seen a good hunk of it, yeah. And I tell you, they got me when Misa was so different. First, Light Turner, get out of here! Like, what are we talking about? Misa's just not Misa, and that like kills. And like, but like that's my point. Is it's so hard to develop those characters and transition them to live action and make it believable. Like you immediately like I can suspend disbelief for that character in the anime because that's her character, and like it's just something in my mind's like, okay, this is an anime, so that is believable. But when you show me that in real life, I'm like, you're so cringe. You know, like really though. And so it's like I don't.
To be fair, I thought it was cringe in the anime too, but it was passable because of anime.
Exactly. Like I mean, yes, it's cringe, but it's also like I can immediately like my
star.
I'm not suspending my disbelief for that. You know, like I'm like okay, like that's fine. You know, like whatever. But anyway, I know we're on a rant. Jake, you'll like this one. Ready Player
One. Part
One.
of the script.
Huh? Yeah. We completely just ad-libbed all that. Ready Player One co-writer Zach Penn has officially confirmed the long-awaited sequel is finally happening.
Ready Player 2!
Yeah. Spielberg is expected to return as a producer, with story beats currently under wraps.
Oh.
Boo. There's a book.
I want to know.
There's a book.
Is there two? Is there a book 2?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's a Ready Player 2 book. That's why they have this.
Oh, yeah, I knew there was one.
Hold on. Let me double check.
I don't think so.
Yes, there is a Ready Player 2 by Ernest Cline. I knew it.
Okay, after discovering a revolutionary technology, days after winning Oasis Founders Contest, Wade Watts makes a discovery that changes everything. Hidden in the vaults, waiting for the heir to find, lies a technological advancement that will once again change the world and make the Oasis 1,000 times more wondrous and addictive than even Wade dreamed of. New quest. Easter egg.
Can I be real honest?
Hold on, I'm not done yet.
Oh,
Mystery
sorry,
prize. Dangerous new rivals. Will kill millions to get what he wants. Okay. Fate of the humanity in the balance, whatever. Blah, blah, blah. Good.
Have you seen the author of Ready Player 1 and 2?
Ernest Cline.
He looks like the sweetest guy on the planet. However, bro's got like he would intimidate. He's very intimidating because his eyes are huge.
Whoa!
Like, I don't mean to judge, and I'm not judging.
Dude.
You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? And I think it's the magnification of his glasses, to be so for real.
That don't help, man. That don't help.
No.
He's gotten older. But,
again, he looks like
here's the good one.
He looks like the sweetest man on the planet, but he also like there's a couple images where
there you go.
He looks kind of scary.
But he does have aura though.
He does have aura.
Watch
Nothing
this.
but love for Ernest Cline, by the way. Look at that.
Aura. Huh?
Again, that's the guy that made Ready Player 1 and 2. We're more than we're in honor.
It's up there.
The fact that his honor is crazy, and the fact that he graced our screens is nuts. But I just wanted to make that point that bro's glasses make his eyes look giant, and I don't say that to judge. I say that just as a matter of fact.
Your glasses make your eyes look giant.
I don't think so. Do they?
Take them off.
Sure. Take them off? No. I'll show you after the pod.
Oh wow. Oh wow.
They've not. I don't know them. They don't.
I don't know. I don't know you.
Anyway.
Who are you people?
Who are you people? Anyway, moving on. After a rumor swirled this past week that the Batman Part 2 and the Batman Part 3 were filming back to back, James Gunn took to social media to put the rumors to rest, simply stating, "I can deny," when prompted.
Oh my gosh, dude. As cool as it would be, as cool and like how like I could see why people would think that. That's definitely not what's going on. There's no way. There's absolutely no way that this would be happening, and this is like the first time where the rumors and speculation arises. There would have been something leaked or like craziness would have been publicized.
Yeah, I think that they toyed really hard with the idea of bringing Pattinson in. That's what took so long, was that they were like working. Like, I guarantee they were taking their time with the script, but I also think that Gunn took over, Superman did really well, and Reeves and Gunn were like, what if we did? And they toyed with that idea, and then they decided not to. Or they're doing the ultimate switcheroony, and he is going to be the Batman, which would make a lot of people angry, but a lot of people happy. So we'll see. But I think that's probably why it was delayed so long. I like to think you're exactly right. It was people, it was comic book sites, and it was people hoping beyond hope that we were going to get more than just one movie because it's taking so long, which would be sick. James Gunn's like, nah. No. Sorry to burst your bubble. No. Anyway. Moving on. We have this.
Got a lot of stories here, folks.
Yeah, we got 3 more. Very quickly. This one's a bit of a controversy too, Jake.
Nope.
Internet legend Hank Green is reportedly stepping away from the internet after being called out for several incorrect claims in recent videos. The revelation? He was using AI to help write his scripts. And the AI was not being fact-checked. And he was wrong on a lot of notes. And he had a statement where he said, like, I could have all these things read in the palm of my hand, like, very quickly. Like, he was like, I can have them read instantly. I can have this information instantly when we're popping out stuff. Like, it was so helpful. And he was like, it wasn't like he was, like, trying to backtrack, but that was what he said. What do we think about it?
Well, he did claim that, like, he was addicted to it. He did, like, I guess, acknowledge it. And I thought that stepping away and, like, evaluating and coming clean was, like, I think it was the right thing to do. I don't think that he should be, I guess, ostracized, because this is exactly like when someone gets canceled, like, this is what they do. But, like, I think that this is the right thing, and I think he's a smart individual, and but I could see how that could be addicting, and like, I know people who, like, they don't have an original thought.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad that he is stepping away and evaluating, and because he is, for those who don't know, Hank Green is a level of a teacher. I guess most of us grew up with him as in Crash Course in the science lab and other history classes, going over just topics of, like, just quick 10-15 minute videos, and it's everything he says is fact. I mean, everything that he did, the research, it's all there, historical or science. And to have that, AI coming of age or AI age take hold of someone we held so highly, and actually tear them down due to incorrect claims and facts. One of them my girlfriend brought up to me was I think it was, like, knitting, where there were several, like, things that he had publicized and claimed about knitting that were just, like, straight up not true, and because of I believe it's, like, the dominance of women in this, I guess, niche hobby, there's not a lot of documentation on it online. And so whatever the AI could pull, it did, which was inaccurate. And if they're saying that if Hank Green had, like, reached out to literally anybody in the knitting hobby community, he'd have found out pretty quick. So it's the not double checking. It's not, like, even, like, reaching out to individuals. So that's kind of, like, why it's sad. And that I think him stepping away and evaluating an addiction like this, because I kind of think it is an addiction at this point. I think that there are individuals who are utilizing it far too often to do not so hard things, or just that take an extra thought, I guess. So
yeah,
I commend him. Like, I forgive him wholeheartedly. Like, I hope he for the individual that he, like, if you claim to be a scholar and somebody who spreads knowledge and are like, in the public eye in a way that people trust you to fact over lies or even fiction, or just made up hallucination, I think that you're held to that standard. So I am forgiving of Hank Green for even though it seems so convoluted, like, it just seems so. It's one of those things where it's like, why do I have to feel like I have to accept his apology. Like that's so, I don't know, measly,
Well,
but it's not, you know.
You're hitting the point that I was about to say. It's hard. It is because this it's beyond just this guy is someone who shares information and he used AI and that's the betrayal. This is generations of time he's been doing this since before I was even in high school. That we were watching Crash Course Science, and Hank Green has been telling us what we should know, what I need to know for the test, making the world a better place. And it's for me, like I do, because this is where I'm torn. On one hand, an addiction is a disease. Like that's just what it is. It is a mental disease that it takes too many people far too quickly. And I think that we need to realize that as a society and hold it as an illness, just like any other illness. So like I have that, and I want him to recover from it if that is what is happening, if he is addicted to it and he feels like that is the problem. And I do want him to come back because I think the world's a better place when we have people who are just like they want to do the service of spreading knowledge. I think that's important. However, it's a betrayal of the trust that was built over the last 20 years. I mean, like it's not just that he did this. It's that this is one of the most formal educators on all of the internet. He and his brother, they both are. And one of them, we don't know about John. I don't think John has. But the point is that they got caught using AI blatantly without fact checking, just spreading false information when this is supposed to be one of the leaders on knowledge and of just promoting positive.
It's one of the ones that you wouldn't expect to get.
Yes,
I guess,
positive education and trying to genuinely make the world a better place by sharing correct info. He's supposed to be the guy helping fight disinformation. And he's actively promoting it, even if not on purpose. Like, that's a level of betrayal that I feel, even as someone who grew up with his content and who relied on that content for its accuracy, for my betterment in my own classroom, right? In the classroom that I was studying in. So I have this kind of like dual, like I want to see him come back and I want to see him recover. But at the end of the day, there will always be this little bit in the back of my mind, like, did Hank use AI for this? And I hate that.
What do we think that he can do to even, help try to curb those just thoughts?
It's going to have to be a level of like, I think that for me, it would be like, I would need you to prove that you have a team of researchers who are doing it for you, like who are helping you, that like can go and like, you need to quote and have a list of resources from where you're pulling. And I need to see that you're having other people help you. So like, you're not relying on the AI. For me, it's like, I would want to see and if I can go like after each episode of Crash Course, say I've watched it and I'm like, I wonder where you got that claim from. If I see that there's like a link to even a textbook and I can go in that textbook and find that information, but that's the only way because the trust is gone. Like, I now need to see exactly where you got that from, not just I can't just trust your word anymore. So
I would say it's a whole lot more guests in the field.
Yeah.
In the whatever field he's talking about, I think it would probably be beneficial to have at least one other individual who not only like fact checks the whole episode and what he said thus far to their interview or whatever he might be talking. I don't know exactly what content he's into right now, but I know he does like deep dives on like the Titanic, or he does a deep dive on this or that. And he had some politics episodes, a few, like I see him pop up sometimes, and I just think you need to have another person.
That's even worse. It's like we're in an age of disinformation where politics is all about the grandiose and about trying to just out duel with words regardless of accuracy between two politicians, regardless of outlet, regardless of perspective. And you have a guy making claims about politics who's using AI to write his scripts without double, like, do you see that he's just feeding the problem when he's supposed to be the guy helping? And it's just, it again, like I will say it again, and this will be the last time I say it. I don't hold the grudge. I hope he gets the help he needs, and I'm happy he took a step back, because that takes a lot of courage to admit, and like, he's a better man than I am, you know, like just for doing stuff like that, because that's hard. But that doesn't mean that I have to trust him again. That's kind of where I am with it. It's like, I'm sorry, dude. Like, and now it's not like I've watched a Hank Green video recently. You know, like, I'm not in that age demographic. It
might have been
anymore.
like 2 months ago. I might have been interested.
About the same. Like, it would come across my feed every now and again. But it's like, I'm not like religiously watching Hank Green anymore. But at the end of the day, it's the same thing. It's like, now whenever it runs across my feed every 4 or 5 weeks, I'm gonna say no. Like I don't know if I can trust him. Like, and that breaks my
Well,
heart.
I might now. If he ever comes back up and it's a topic I care about, or maybe something I'm knowledgeable on, I'll see
Yeah.
what he's doing differently. I might now because I'm curious.
If I ever press on a video, I would go first thing to the description and see his sources. And if there's none, if it's just like no, I'm gonna immediately click off. Like because it's like I can't trust you. Like I can't trust you. And until I can see it.
What do you think the classroom's gonna do? You think they care?
No. In our state, no. They're gonna use the old stuff. They're gonna use what they've been using because it's hard. Like teachers are.
Well, I mean, yeah, the old stuff, but like anything new that he'd come out with.
I don't know. I mean, you got classrooms still using Brain Pop, and Brain Pop stopped making content in like 2014, dude. Like I mean, like it's by the time the classrooms like in the public school system catches up to the time that he is now, he'll have recovered, and it won't make a difference. But like it just public school systems are like depending on the county and depending on like the school, you never know. You know what I mean? But I think it's a case by case basis is what I'll say. But anyway, any other thoughts before we move on to our final story?
Better soon.
Yeah.
Let us know what you think about Hank Green.
Yeah. I'll still call him a legend. He's still a legend. Just, it hurts. Anyway, our last story of the day, horror director Eli Roth admitted that his recently released Ice Cream Man used generative AI for its animation sequences after originally claiming that these scenes were hand-drawn. Audiences responded to his misleading words by giving Roth's feature a 47% on Rotten Tomatoes. Mind you, when called out by it, so last Monday, he was like, yeah, I had a very specific vibe and feel that I was going for with his hand-drawn animations. You know what got him caught? He made that claim on Monday. By Wednesday, people were looking at the credits, and in the credits of his own movie was an AI firm. In which case, he immediately took back his words and said, I misspoke.
He drew what he gave to the AI.
Or he lied. He just he thought he could get away with it because he thought, well, it'll be buried in the credits and no one will pay attention. If that's the case, I think he got what he deserved. Like this film tanked, and not a lot of people liked it, and it's just another thing of gore porn, and it debuted to like 8th with $2 million. Like it didn't do nothing at the box office, and so I had nothing against Eli Roth, but now after that, like after all hand drawn, how do you misspeak with that? They said specifically and explicitly about the scenes that you used AI and asked how you did that, and your answer was hand drawn for the things you obviously knew weren't. Like, don't lie to me. Like, don't lie to me. I guess it's like my whole point. It's like, if you're going to say you used AI, at least be Aronofsky and just say you're doing it. Because at the end of the day, while I disagree with it, I can at least say, you know what? You're brave, man. Like, I don't agree, but sure, that's what you're doing now.
Not like it would do any better.
Can you imagine if Aronofsky was like, oh yeah, on this day, 1776, the series I'm doing with Vice, all 100% practical. And we saw that. We saw what it ended up being. We'd be all like, huh? What?
That guy has 6 fingers.
Yeah, that's exactly that's what this is like. It's just like, no, I have eyes.
You do. 4 of them.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, that's rough. Would it have done any better if he did tell the truth?
I'd like to say no, because now I know that he lied, but who knows, to be honest. Like, I doubt it. We laughed last week when the AI put it at 5, and now here we are.
What are you gonna do? Oh, and I saw something else where there was a guy who, Battlefield 6, he bought like the ultimate whatever, like super expensive one, and they recently got rid of like a bunch of game modes in it for some reason. I don't know why. And so he 472 hours played in this game, and he goes to Steam and says, I'd like to return this. They removed all of the game modes that I like to play. And it was like more than 2. Like there were 3 or 4, I think, that EA had removed from Battlefield 6. And Steam gave him the refund. So
Bro.
W Steam.
Dude.
it doesn't fall into any of these conversations, but like I want to throw a W steamed at the very end of the episode.
Yeah. Dude, after Sony, like I don't play my PlayStation. I haven't played my PlayStation in months prior to that anyway, but like I'm throwing my full support behind Steam, dude. And if Xbox keeps making decisions that like I like, now I know that they're in hot water because of the layoffs. I still don't think that's
now. You heard about what they're doing with the old disc from the 360?
What do you mean?
Yeah, you can get them on PC. They're doing a whole like backwards compatible, and if you can plug it into your Xbox, and it'll add it to your account, and then you can play them on PC.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Is that like even their new stuff? It's like the way that it's going to work. It's a lot like that, where it's like their new games will have a piece or a disc, but you can throw that into your console, and then it will download. But you still have the physical disc that has the game on it. So if you get a new console, if you want to play with the game, you can, and you have that physical disc. I like that. That's a great option.
And when you sell it, the license follows the disc.
Yes.
So like you do lose like that, but like the next person gets the license for that game.
Yes, and so it's like you're still retaining ownership. Like you are buying the license.
A physical copy.
Yes. Like, and it's not something they can just strip, which is like I adore. I know it's not popular that they cut off all those people or they fired all those people. I'm not saying that is right. I'm not saying I agree with that. However, I will say I don't think it's this current leadership at Xbox because they inherited that. They've been on the job for less than 8 months. I feel like it's probably something that they had to do something to be profitable. And again, I feel so bad for those devs. I feel so bad for that team, those teams that made great games. I just don't see why you would hate on the current administration at Xbox for something that was obviously not their fault. And so I hate it for them. I hate on Microsoft. Like, don't hate Xbox. But anyway.
She knocked on the door of Bethesda and was like, yo, what are we doing in here?
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Yeah.
10 years. 10 years.
And now we're getting news from Bethesda. Now we're getting more Fallout stuff. And so it's like all of a sudden. So anyway, that's what I'll say. I love video game talk. Yeah, that's the show. I love video game talk. Jake, I don't think I'm letting you off the hook here. We end every episode with a recommendation. You thought I'd forget. Hit us with your rec.
You caught me off guard. You usually give me a build up and I can remember what I was gonna.
Right.
Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs.
Every week we do a recommendation. You have a chance to pick another one if you want. Every week we do a recommendation of the week in which one of us, usually Jake, I'm just kidding, we take turns, pick what you guys should be recommended to watch for the week. So it could be animation, it could be anime, it could be live. We've done everything from something from 1957 to anime series. Just telling you, we recommend you guys watch. And it's Jake's turn because Jake skipped last week because we had our illustrious guest Dylan Travis pick. So go, Jake. It's now your turn.
My movie recommendation of the week is Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs 2. But you didn't see that one coming.
I knew it.
One, I like one. I asked a girlfriend if she had ever seen it, and she said no. And so we didn't get around to it. But I fully plan on watching that next because I think it is a crucial movie in my upbringing, just because it's got the humor in it. I think it teaches you something, at least morally, maybe not so much scientifically, but
the Fleischniffer.
Yeah, which, I mean, every turn in that movie, great actors, great supporting cast, and go give the Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs 1 a watch, maybe 2. I can't remember if there's a 3rd, but I know there's a talking monkey in one of them. It's kind of weird, but
there's a link in the
first
boat.
one's good.
That's one of the funniest. I'll tell you, of all the funny, I think Anna Faris does such a good job as Sam, but I'll tell you, the funniest bit that I've ever seen them do around that movie. Well, one, I guess I should say this. What I'm going to say is the second one. I love just Flint Lockwood with Earl just chasing him and running like in the background. Yeah, Flint Lockwood. I think it's the funniest thing, him in the background. But I will say what's like almost just as funny is the interview where Bill Hader was promoting. I think it was 2, and the interviewer showed a little like it was one of the marshmallows with the face on it, and Bill Hader in all Flint Lockwood, like just in the interview, points and screams as loud as he can. I think that's the funniest. Like that bit is so funny, and it's just like cut it off. Like every time you see it, like they cut it off hard, as he's really starting to yell. So like I think Bill Hader and Anna Faris kill it in both of those movies. I didn't expect that. Also, by the way, just in case you didn't know, Neil Patrick Harris is Steve. the monkey. I did not know that. Yeah. Steve. That's just Neil Patrick Harris. Anyway. Thank you for the movie recommendation. And ladies and gentlemen, that has been Beyond the Screen. We are recording, I should say. We upload every single Monday night. So mark your calendars, hit the bell, and let us know what you think. We'll be back next week. Bye.